Hey, welcome back to another video. Did you guys miss me? I'm going to talk about another one of these aren't ready to have discussions because the last one I did flopped like really bad.
Man, I'm dead.
Please go watch it. I put a lot of time into that. But nonetheless, I've got another one here and it's about Sonic. Now, I like Sonic, evidently. So hopefully this is a discussion that, us as Sonic fans, I don't know how many of you guys are Sonic fans, but this could be a discussion to see what we, have in common with this player. And hopefully we find some common ground. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. It cannot be emphasized enough how much these games fall apart without automation. This is an interesting discussion because a lot of people always like to complain about the automation in Sonic games. Oh, why can't we go through loops by ourselves? Why does it always have to pan to different cameras and stuff like that? But let's really look at it. In my opinion, automation is like the glue of the Sonic games, at least in 3D. Without automation, there's nothing. Like, let's really think about this. Like, going through a loop. In a 2D Sonic game, and a lot of people like to use, in the 2D games, you could go for a loop. And in the 3D games, you couldn't. But in the 2D games, it's much more easy to control Sonic than in the 3D games. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but just hear me out. Now, in 2D games, you go left and right. So everything you're seeing is just the camera panning from the left to the right. You're not seeing what's behind. You're not seeing what's in front. I think it's called a Z-axis. No, not a Z. It's like Y-axis, Z. Whatever. It's whatever the axis is like. Okay, you just pan left, right. That's really it. With the 3 games, it's a lot more complicated because you're always behind Sonic unless you want to turn around and you can see his face or whatever. So when you're running and the camera's shown behind Sonic, if it goes to a loop, I feel like that would kind of like break the game the way I see it at least. It will kind of break the game, or at least maybe not break the game, but it'll be a lot more harder to control Sonic in these sections. And if he's going through a loop and it's kind of harder to control, you know what the fans are going to be like. They're going to start complaining, oh, why is this so complicated? Why can't you just make it automatic? So that's really what it is. Now the caveat being with Sonic Frontiers, I really had a problem with the automation. Like, we're playing in an open zone and there's a lot of, speed boosters, bounce pads, just launching you to different places. Like do I really need a speed boost for this section? Is it just so complicated I can't control it myself? The Storybook collection was legitimately interesting and should have continued as a side project on handhelds. At the very least, make it a trilogy. Now I didn't play the Storybook games. Like, I owned a Wii, I just never felt like playing it. But what I will say is I made a video on how I'd control the Sonic franchise by making it into certain pillars. Let's say you'd have the games, side games, movies, TV shows, stuff like that. And I remember saying something specific about the Storybook games. The other one I want from a Sonic mobile game, and I know everyone's going to be like really confused when I say this, but I think the Storybook games could potentially work on iOS. And I know you're sitting on your chairs potentially wondering, how would that ever work? I'm going to try my best to explain how that could potentially work. Have the game control like Temporum, where you have to move your finger across the screen to make Sonic go left or right, and try to get all the panels of text and dialogue on portrait, and we potentially have a good mobile game. And the game's only like 3 hours. I think that should be decent. Hey, it turns out I know what I was talking about 3 years ago. Wow. I mean, they've got the formula with Sonic Dash. They could just use that. Maybe, I don't know, for the sword play.
Pause.
But maybe have like designated sections where you could just it'll show you like an icon of you saying when you need to swipe the screen, and you can do that to attack, something like that, or at least like a button on the side. But yeah, I don't think it should be like really that complicated, although I don't know because I don't make games, so I would never know. And then yeah, the cutscenes put into story panels, and then I think that should work. That's always what I've been thinking. But I don't think Sega's gonna do it. They don't look like they really have any plans for the Storybook games, and how they're gonna make a third one, I just don't think they're bothered enough to do it. But it's it's a suggestion. It's out there. Just credit me, because I said it. No one else did. I said it. While Frontiers is fun to play, it's also the most visually boring Sonic game in the whole franchise. I'm not someone who's always obsessed with making 3D games with 2D games in terms of the visuals, make it more colorful and stuff like that. I do want to see a bit more life and maybe a bit more flair, but not as much as the 2D games, because that's kind of a different thing. And I'm not hoping to see something like Sonic Adventure 2 or Sonic Adventure 1 when they were both made in different areas, and you're just seeing Sonic interact with these realistic humans, stuff like that. And you're lucky I might be talking about Sonic 06 right now, because that game's ugly. I'm not expecting to see that. What I'm expecting to see is a world that looks like it's catered for Sonic. When I look at Sonic Unleashed, it looks like it's catered for Sonic. When I look at Generations, it's catered for Sonic. Colors, Yeah, maybe it wasn't on a graphically, you know, dense, if that's the word, like a high-powered console, but it looks like it was made in a world where Sonic would resonate in. But Frontiers just looked so dull, in my opinion. Like, it really did look like there was nothing. Like, if I showed you a generic picture, you couldn't possibly tell me that it's from a Sonic game. I'm sorry, you just couldn't do it.
What is that?
And it's funny because I remember when the game was coming out, I was seeing a lot of concepts of what they wanted the world to look like. Or I was even seeing concepts from older Sega games like Phantasy Star Online. When I was looking at that, I was like, okay, you know, this, I mean, it's still not Sonic, but you know, it has flair to it. Sonic's just, Frontier is just kind of like green, desert, mountains, green. Even the subspace, I know it's generations, you know, assets, chemical plant, Sky Sanctuary, Green Hill, City. Boring! I've already talked about what I'd want to see in a Sonic Frontiers 2, at least the environments I'd want to see. So if you want to see that, then, you know, check out the Frontiers 2 video that I made. You don't have to, but, you know, check it out. But yes, Frontiers is very dull, and I hope they change it for the next game because I do not want to be seeing that again. It's still better than 06 though.
Elise!
We need a new model that fits the Sonic VA that we currently have. Or we need a new Sonic VA that fits the model that we currently have. Look, I see a lot of people complaining about the models. I've seen that quite a lot. It's funny because I remember in lockdown, people were making so many complaints about, oh, the model looks just so out of date. We need a new one. Oh, the rings doesn't look that good. Oh, what speed pads are the best? Like, I need to make a video on lockdown Sonic Twitter because that wasn't a real place at that time. But let's talk about the model real quickly because I feel like there's so much to talk about here. See, when I think of Mario, I think of one set model, I think of one set VA, and that's it. With Sonic, I've never had a complaint about his model. Like, now this can go in different separate ways because I'm not sure if this person's talking about the promotion models that they use or if they're just talking about the video game models. But I mean, they both look the same anyway. I don't see much of a problem with it. Sonic Adventure 1 has better movement than Sonic Adventure 2. Yeah, I agree. Although Sonic Adventure 2 has a lot of things that I like. You know, it has the quick light speed dash, it has the bounce bracelet, but Sonic Adventure 1 just felt better. You know, the turning felt better, the jumping felt better. You know, the spin dash felt really nice in that game. It's up to preference. I just prefer Sonic Adventure 1 movement. Sonic Unleashed had better cutscenes than any other Sonic games. I have not played every 3D or 2D game. At least had some okay-ish cutscenes. But with that being said, there's been something that I've not seen people complain about for quite a while now. And when it comes to the cutscenes, I've seen a lot of people complain about, you know, Sonic's mouth, Sonic eyes. He doesn't emote, he doesn't have enough emotion in his mouth and his face or whatever. But I've yet to see someone really complain about the cutscenes just looking ass. The cutscenes don't look good. They don't look good. Just like a couple months ago, I was playing Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. And them cutscenes, they look really good. The animation, the camera angles, the camera tricks, you know, blurring out the background to show the characters' faces, the emotion of the characters' faces. Bro, those cutscenes look amazing. And then when I look at Sonic Frontiers, like, I know even when you talk to the characters, it's just the silly RPG where they just kind of stand there, flap their mouths. But even if you look at the actual cutscenes, they don't look good. Like, they look really bad, if I'll be honest with you. And it's been like that since Colors. Since Colors, they've had really rigid movement in their animations. I don't know what it's taking them so long to fix it, but I really hope they can just like improve their game, because when you look at like the rendered animations, the CGI animations, they look so solid, so fluid. And then when you look at the actual cutscene animations, I'm not expecting it to look like, you know, a CGI animated film, whatever. But I'm at least expecting it to look, you know, decent. They just look really bad. That's all I had to say. They look really bad. Sonic 06 is the best adventure game when you aren't trying to explicitly glitch out the game or wait a minute. I feel like we need to stop right there. I understand this is a thread full of Sonic fans, but let's take into account an actual, you know, a first-time gamer of the game. They're not gonna know that. This game is just like really glitchy. It's okay if you like it. You can like it, but I don't think a first-time gamer is gonna really enjoy the game, even if he's not trying to explicitly glitch it out. The game's gonna glitch out. Have you not seen that? Like, there's a boss fight in Sonic 06. You know the one I'm talking about, where it's Silver and Sonic in that little area place, and he's just like lifting him up and down, using his whatever. Like, you just can't do. You just can't accept that. I'm sorry. I'll still die on the hill that Sonic 06 is a really good Sonic game.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry, man. I wasn't thinking about it when I did it. I should have said like Burger King.
06 is an objectively good game. Frontiers is objectively unplayable and bad. Colors and Generations aren't 3D Sonic games because the majority of those games are in 2D. Adventure Series is objectively peak 3D Sonic without question. Yeah, where is this 06 love coming from? I don't get it. You're gonna have to give me like 3 reasons why 06 is better than Frontiers. Like, if you can give me 3 reasons, anyone in the comments that watched this video, because you know I really want to know this. Whoever can explain to me why 06 is better than Frontiers, please do it, because I just don't see it, guys. I just don't see it. I really don't. Alright, guys. I got one more in me.
I got one more in me.
You've always got one more in you. It's always one more
I got one more in me. I got one more in me.
The adventure games didn't age well and are in desperate need of remakes. No. I think we could easily live off a port or remaster or something like that. But if you got a remake, it would be hype. It would be hype. You know, I'd enjoy it. I'd play it. You'd play it. They've got the movement down. Well, not 100% down, but I'm talking about, like, you know, running around, the jumping, maybe take out the double jump. They've got that kind of down. They just need to, you know, work on the spin dash a bit more, work on Tails a bit, work on Amy a bit, just work on Knuckles. They don't need a lot. Big the Cat, you already know what the fishing's gonna be like. I mean, you can use the fishing from Tears, or you can, I don't know, try re-enhance, you know, the one in Adventure a bit more to make it feel just a little bit better without having to do the whole Frontier sit and wait and then you pick it up and then you get it, whatever. And I think Frontiers kind of open up that possibility for a remake for Adventure 1 and 2, just because of how the game movement feels. You know, it's very similar, not 100% obviously, but they've got like similar aspects. But you kind of have ideas of what places could look like, and especially with the enhanced graphics. Hedgehog Engine 2, that game will go crazy. I'll be there. That's gonna do it for this video. You know, some of these takes were interesting, and some of the takes that I didn't read were even more interesting. So if you want to see a part 2, just leave a like. You know, get me 5 likes, 10 likes, and I'll make a part 2, because there were quite a bit of takes here, and you know, I like reading a lot of takes from you guys, even if I don't know if you guys did it. It was on Twitter. But we can act like it was you. We'll act like it was you guys. But yeah, that's me gone. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.